Okay.
I think we're recording. Go ahead, Courtney.
All right. So my junior year of college, my roommate at the time initiated prank wars. Now I have to tell you that I went to school in Arizona where it gets about 120 degrees in the summer, and apparently there was nothing better for us to do than play jokes on each other. Unfortunately for me, I underestimated her prank skills, and boy was I in for an unpleasant surprise. So on a very hot summer day, I went into the restaurant where I worked at. I remember driving into work and there was like a smell in the air when I thought it was outside. So I go into work, I come out 8 hours and one double shift later, and I open my car door and this foul smell just hits me. I had no idea what it was. I swear that a maggot would gag in this smell. It was disgusting. But I got in my car anyways to drive home. I remember driving home and I was thinking, what did I leave in my car? Is it old food? Is there something spilled and it's just molding in my car? I was so grossed out. So I got back to my house. I started to search my car. I pulled back my passenger seat and there it was, a giant fish head. A huge fish head. It was like half a foot long. I swear that it was looking me in the eye. I was so disgusted. But looking back at my reaction to finding a giant fish head in my car, I can't help but laugh. I started hysterically crying. I called my parents and asked what I should do. Can you imagine being a parent and getting that phone call? So long story short, I had to have a neighbor who I didn't even know help me get this nightmare out of my car. So embarrassing. So I later found out that my roommate, she went to the grocery store and she purchased this fish. Apparently it wasn't gross enough already and she had to chop it in half. So I think what I learned from that situation is, one, I'm too old for pranks, and two, I need to be better about locking my car. And that's pretty much my story.
I like it.
That's great.
You know, so I will say a strength of yours is you actually, you're very fluid, right? So you didn't really take any breaks and stuff. Like, you may have had like a little misstep, but you continued right on without like noticing it. So you covered it up very well, and I actually really enjoyed it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, you did a great job, like keeping your eye contact, like your focus here, and like he said, I felt like he just kept it really fluent as well. So, good job.
Yeah, it felt like a natural story. It didn't seem like you were doing any kind of presentation or anything. It just, bunch of friends hanging out telling our nasty fish stories. So it was.
Yeah, told that story a few times.
I could tell, but it was very funny.
Okay. Anyone have an opportunity? I know Hank, you mentioned I misstepped a little bit, so.
Yeah, it was just right at the beginning. I think you were trying to say something about your roommate, and then you kind of went back and you're like, oh, well, my roommate was living with me or something to that effect, right? So
yeah,
I mean, that was the only thing that
was
a negative. But I mean, for the most part, it looked really good. So
okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. So Justin, you're up.
Ooh.
Okay. Here we go. So there I was on top of this mountain in unfamiliar territory. I'd never been in before. One of my good friends had drawn a deer tag to hunt out on the West Desert in Utah, and we didn't have any time to scout, so we decided we'd just go out there kind of blindfolded. And so we were on top of this mountain. We spotted this big buck down the canyon from us, about a mile away, and it was kind of getting late in the evening, so we knew we had to move pretty fast if we were going to have a chance at it. So we got down there and got within a couple hundred yards, and Tony had shot this deer, and he was super excited, like a little kid, just, screaming, super happy. We took pictures, and before you knew it, within minutes, it was pitch black. These clouds had rolled in over the mountain on us, and it started to rain, thunder and lightning, and it was probably 38 degrees. It was pretty cool. And so when this happens, we have a couple options. We got to get the deer out of there. We got to get back to our four-wheelers. And And I looked at Tony, I said, hey, we got to get out of here, because he was more concerned about his deer. And I think I was more scared than he was at the time. And so we got this deer down at the bottom of the canyon, and then it was just straight uphill to our four-wheelers up the side hill. And he looked at me and he's like, Justin, we got to get out of here. And I said, yeah, I know it. Let's go. So we're hiking up this straight up this side hill, and my odds just started, and neither one of us were prepared. I was in Levi's. I had a cotton jacket. I didn't even have a headlamp. I was using my iPhone for a light, and I ended up ruining my phone. Luckily, Tony, he was leading the way. But we were halfway up the hill in panic mode at this point. We knew the direction. We didn't have any landmarks to go off of, so we thought we were on the right. He just kept going up. We ended up getting back to the four-wheeler, and we were borderline hypothermia when we got back to the four-wheeler. It was about a 2-mile drive back to our camp, and by the time we got back to our camp, I couldn't even function. I was shaking so bad I couldn't do anything. So looking back, and I was lucky that didn't happen on the side hill, or else we would have been in trouble. Also looking back, it was a great learning experience for us of being prepared. So anyway, that's my story.
Wow.
Feedback.
I will say that my worst nightmare is being in the woods in the dark. So applaud you for finding your way back.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, I felt like the way you gave your story was really good. You obviously, it's something that you've lived, and you could tell you were really confident giving your story. You had really good eye contact, so I'd say that was a strength.
Awesome, thank you.
You're also pretty detailed, right? You were telling us about like certain things that you could see, and like you're on the side of a cliff or a mountain, right? And you're going up and that kind of thing. So that you're giving a lot of, details about what's around you and your surroundings and stuff like that. So you obviously, this isn't a made-up story. You were in it, right? So it's something that you couldn't make up, right? So I did enjoy that.
Awesome. Yeah, I liked how on kind of certain parts you started speaking very slowly, and so I was listening to every single word that was coming out of your mouth because I really wanted to know what was happening next. So you got my attention, and you kept it by the way that you spoke and the quickness and tempo of your voice as well. I really liked that.
Thanks. Yeah, it must have been my experience from telling it to other people. Okay. Anything else?
So I guess the only downside that I saw, or would be maybe filler speech using ums. I do it all the time as well, so I can't say that I'm not gonna do it when I say my story. But I guess that's one thing that you could work on, right?
Okay. Yeah, and that's one thing. Like, when I recorded myself on the transformational, and then previous things, that's one thing. And it's funny, you get in the mode, like when you're giving a presentation or speech, and you just forget it. Like you forget that you do that. It's like,
yeah.
Dang. Anyway, thanks for that. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who did we decide was next? Was it Kyle?
I think it was me, wasn't it?
Yeah, because Hank said he was gonna go last.
I'm gonna rein it in, man. Bring it in.
All right, I'll go next. So that time when you're asleep and then something wakes you up and you're instantly awake and you know of everything that's going on around you? Well, this happened to me about 2 years ago. It was 3:00 in the morning, and outside my bedroom window, I heard some footsteps on some gravel and some hushed whispering. My wife, she was right next to me, and I could tell she instantly was up as well, and we were both kind of freaked out. I snuck over to the window to see what was out there. And you have to know, I live in a pretty compact neighborhood, so I have neighbors to my left and right, and across the way, there are fences that separate us, but we're very tight, and so I can see into my neighbors' yards. As I look out the window, I see 2 men in my neighbor's yard hunched down and kind of hiding behind the deck. I fearfully watch them for about 30 seconds as they decide to then make a run for it. They jumped over my neighbor's fence to the right and were gone. I was really grateful that they didn't come into my house or into my yard. As I tried to go back to sleep, I figured that the bad guys were gone, but really wasn't confident that they were gone. A short while later, I heard more footsteps on the gravel. This time, thankfully, it was the cops with the canine unit. they had come to check out the situation, and shortly after they arrived, they left to go chase the bad guys. Again, I went back to bed trying to tell myself to go to sleep, but I knew that was impossible. A short time later, again, something else I heard outside my window made me bolt up. This time, I could tell it wasn't near, but it was somewhat in the distance within my neighborhood still. I heard shouts of freeze and get down. I couldn't see the actual action, but I could see the sirens and the flashlights. The cops had actually apprehended the two suspects, and it sounded just like the movies. At that point, I knew that sleep was gone. There was no way that I was ever going to go back to sleep. It was just way too intense. The next morning, I actually called the police department and asked what had happened last night. Mostly, I wanted to make sure that they had apprehended the two bad guys so that one of them wasn't still at large in my neighborhood. The officer assured me that, yes, they had captured both of them. And every night now, ever since then, I make sure that all my doors and my windows are locked, and even that the gate on my fence is closed. I know it probably won't keep the bad guys out because they're really good at jumping fences, but it's just that peace of mind that helps me sleep a little bit better every night.
And you and Justin are both saying my worst nightmares. Someone was outside my house. Oh no. Kyle, I really liked that you used a lot of like visual terms. I kind of felt like I was there almost as you were describing, like seeing the lights and everything. It kind of puts you in a situation, which I think is really good for telling a story.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did a great job of just mowing through it without any hesitations. Like you knew that story perfect, and I felt like I was there as well. And so good job.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it was really good. I don't know if I can best that. So I'm getting even more nervous now as we go along. But I think all in all, I mean, that was pretty strong. I mean, I really enjoyed it. You kept us on our seats, right? You know, kind of giving us like the details and stuff like that progressively. And then, you know, the next day we wanted to know exactly what happened, right? So I think that was kind of a good point to have, right? That was nice. So.
Thank you.
I want to say there was something negative, but I didn't see anything. So.
Oh, you're very kind. That's not true.
I'm glad that they didn't come in your house. That's what I kept thinking. I was anticipating that they were going to like come into your house or try to come into your house. So I'm glad it had a happy ending.
Me too.
Yeah, I guess if there is one, like an opportunity, the only thing I would say, Kyle, is that at times you kind of like looked away a little bit. I definitely do that all the time, but I know it really helps when you're telling a story just to like keep your eyes on people, which I'm always trying to work on. So that would be the only tip that I would give you.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, Hank.
I guess I'm here to anchor. So what I'm going to tell you about is the first time I actually met my girlfriend, who will eventually be my fiance in the near future, but she doesn't know that, so don't say anything. So, I had just moved to Las Vegas from Texas. I'd only been here for about 6 months, and I had a small, good group of friends. And one night I was with my uncle, and we were watching football. It was in October, and it was cold outside, and we had the windows open. And it was great, right? We were really enjoying myself, and I had a friend text me saying, "Hey, you know, you're single, right?" And I was like, "Well, I want to say yes because I am, but I don't want to leave because I'm really enjoying myself, you know, watching the football games and stuff like that." Because it was later in the evening. Like, well, you know, let me take a chance. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm single. You know, I've only been here for a couple months. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know if I want to get tied down." He goes, "Well, there's this girl that I know. We're actually out having drinks, and I think you guys would be a perfect fit." So I said, "Why not? Let's just go ahead and see what happens." So I drive out to the Strip because I live in Las Vegas, and we met at a bar. So we're having a few drinks, and you know everything was going great, right? I was doing all the right things. She was laughing, you know, which is something that I pride myself in, making people laugh. And at the end of the night, you know, it was, you know, give her like the awkward hug, the whole thing. And the next day, I called my friend. Said, "You know, hey, how did it go? You know, what did she think of me?" And she goes, "Well, she really thinks you're funny. She really enjoyed it, but you have this beard, and she's not a fan." And I can understand why she wasn't a fan, because this wasn't just like a normal beard like Justin's. Mine was massive. It was like James Harden huge. It was disgusting. I've been growing it for like a year and a half. Like, so, and I kept it up too. I washed it. I put oils and stuff in it. I thought I was doing the right things. So I was like, you know what? Thank you for the feedback. I will call you later. So good thing for me and for her, I'm stubborn. So what I did was I shaved. I shaved that day, that minute that I talked to my friend when I got off the phone. But I didn't shave it all off. I shaved him to a mustache. Yes, I am a handsome man with a mustache. I look like Doc Holliday. So I send the girl that I just met a picture of my new mustache. She loved it. She laughed. She thought it was the greatest thing she'd ever seen. Of course, that wasn't going to make her smitten. So I ended up shaving my entire face, clean shaven, and I sent her another picture. And she finally actually to agree to have a date with me one-on-one instead of having somebody else along with us. So long story short, we've been together for 2 years now, and it's probably the best decision she's ever made, but I still regret it because I enjoyed having that beard. But all in all, I think it's worked out. Like I said, eventually she will be my fiance soon. So I guess I can't have any complaints.
Oh, that's funny. Uh-oh.
How's she feeling about that facial hair you got right now?
She doesn't mind this. So
Just the massive beard.
yeah, I worked really hard on it.
I don't get the beard thing.
Fair enough.
So when you started, I actually really liked the way you started and captured our attention by saying that she's going to be your fiance soon and she doesn't know it. I think that that's like the most important thing when you're telling a story. You have to capture people's attention right away, and you definitely did that. So good job on getting us started there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you kept good comic relief throughout it too. So that was good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you used your hands really well as well. You showed how big your beard was, and good analogies to people that at least I knew. I know who James Harden is and know how monster of a beard he is. So that made it seem more real that I could imagine you with a James Harden beard, and it added more imagery to your story.
Yeah, thanks. I know there's some negatives. You can go ahead and say it.
So I think this one you kind of you called out earlier and said you do it, but the fillers, like the ums and uhs, but it's good that you're aware of that, and we all do it.
Sure. And like just
hard not to.
Earlier, I didn't think that I was saying it, but now that I go back and think about how I progressed through the story, I'm like, yeah, I said it probably 15 times. I didn't even notice.
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity. And yeah, it's crazy how when I'm in the moment, I just totally space it out. Like I beforehand, I want to like focus on it, but I always forget, and I just kind of get going on it, and then afterwards, I look back at it and see, oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, good job. Good stories. Thank you.
Yeah.
Some of you made me laugh. Some of you, I'm not going to sleep tonight, but
I'm going to say I'm going to cry now. So I'm nervous. I'm by myself now. So come on. Good job.
Sorry.
No, I like I said, or thanks for meeting up today. I know it's kind of like Friday, Memorial Day weekend, so I really appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad it's over with too. I'm glad we didn't wait till like Sunday night.
yeah.
Good.
All right. Everyone have a nice weekend.
Thank you.